Hello, Christian. Today I would like to discuss with you from the logistic angle and technology angle the idea of open agnostic parcel lockers network versus closed parcel lockers network. There are few very interesting examples around the world which shows that this is a very important question. This is important question from the profitability point of view. A good point is what, for example, what we observed. There are a lot of agnostic networks which are below break-even or close to break-even. The biggest parcel lockers network, Open. Hivebox Chinese network is on break-even. We know, for example, my Flexbox from Europe is probably negative. I also knew a lot of different smaller networks is also negative in profitability. Very interesting case of InPost in UK. They try to build agnostic open network without logistics, only parcel lockers, and they finally switch and finally bought the two logistic companies to have own logistics. And the big question is it possible to earn enough money to be profitable on only lockers, only the physical network also for the last mile? Or you need also this leverage on the density on delivery, which is the very specific fit for closed parcel lockers networks. What do you think?
I think still it's a question about your position. If you have the right position, you can be very agnostic if you can control the volumes. And I think that you have to think about all the measurements, all the things that's happening behind the locker. It's not the. It's. I think one thing that is surprising me is that lockers have different dimensions. There is no standards, and I come from. I was born into a data model back in the days where we actually made standards across everywhere, and that made sure that we actually could do a lot more automation. That we operated with standards, and that means that you have to have a lot of conversion happening behind the line, depending on if you're operating and a network where you are using both your own and agnostic lockers and whatever. You need to make sure that your master data are okay. And of course, where would you use the agnostic solution? You would use them where you have a better coverage than yourself. So even for agnostic lockers, I think that it's very important that you have the flexibility of the IT systems behind, that you're very open about your master data, that you have an extremely good model on usage. And because I think that we said many times, the biggest problems with lockers is that it's the same problem if you're empty or full. You need to figure that sweet spot where you are almost full all the time. And that means that you have to control your inflows. So there's a lot of things that from a technical point that we have to look at as challenges when it comes to the agnostic or combinations of lockers or partnerships in lockers as we see now with DPD and GLS in Germany. So yeah, it's quite a lot of things.
This different locker sizes also important for our customers, for the customers like e-shops, because I also heard for them many times they cannot add another logistic parcel lockers network to their operations as a vendor because they need to set up separate assembly, the packing line for this particular company because they need to prepare the different sizes of the packages. So that's absolutely true. I think this problem with agnostic networks is this density on delivery, which is one of the big leverage of the cost in the whole system. So one is related with efficiency of delivery, that you are very efficient to deliver to lockers. You don't need to create few attempts for delivery, like in door-to-door delivery. But another thing is density. So your driver deliver a lot of parcels to one point, and it cannot be achieved in agnostic network. Or maybe it can, but in very specific situation. Because if your utilization of the locker is even high, but is created by few different carrier companies, which attempt to fill the locker in they will never have density on the delivery. So maybe the idea for even open network is to deliver everything. So carriers deliver to you and
Mm.
you deliver to your final locker. You can get a little bit more money for that because you serve the full last mile, but you manage both density on delivery and utilization.
Yeah, I mean, I think that some of these things is actually quite interesting, where you see the way that you combine your distribution model. As you say, that maybe you have lockers as a pickup point for the last meters. That you, if you can have a network of agnostic lockers, which are like holding places, like depots in the future, and then you have a crowd distribution model for the last meters. And I see that these ideas are coming up also in Budapest, and if you see how I think it will if you're not far away from seeing it also maybe in Omniva, the way that they are now starting the distribution in now across the Baltics, where they are using crowd solutions in order to take all the tips. I think that we will running an own network and an agnostic network will have the same problem in the sense that we will have this seasonality, and the seasonality goes across all customers more or less. So you need to figure out how you're balancing, and what can you balance with, as you say. Is there something that I can make sure that my lockers are full all the time, or close to full, not over full? Because it's also about the end consumer's convenience. And I personally see that when I order parcels coming to me in Copenhagen, I don't know, especially the cross border, I don't know who is going to be the last mile provider. If it's going to be PostNord as myself, or it's going to be DHL, Bring, anybody. And that is actually a problem. That if the lockers are full, I'm moved to somewhere pretty far away, because depending on which provider also that they have, and their density of the lockers. So I think that customer convenience is also something that we have to look at a lot.
Uh, this is one another good case with this very fresh from Poland. When Allegro, the biggest marketplace in Poland, integrated last year. That's why I said it's very fresh. 4 different operators in one system. So they use 4 operators with parcel lockers and with home deliveries in some kind of integrated way, and they claim they achieve very high NPS in last peak season. So maybe with support of technology, you can really manage it.
But it also means that you have to control all the master data. You have to control also the deals that you have with these different providers, because for end consumers, you will probably have your preferred locker. And yes, if you can orchestrate with a number of operators in your own area, you get probably a better preference, even if you have to orchestrate people from, if there's 50 meters between the lockers, I don't think, or 100 meters, 250 meters if we talk the slipper distance. I don't think that I would matter that much, unless I measured last time when I got a locker. It was 1.7 kilometers from my home, and it was in a place where I would take my car and I couldn't park in that area. It didn't make a success for me. So it's also depending on what kind of proximity you have on this open locker systems, combining them together. So it's an orchestration, I would say.
So you mean also data about the preference of your receivers?
Yeah, I think
Not
very
only
important.
efficiency of the process, not quality of the process and cost of cost as well, but also preferences. Uh, in this case, which I mentioned before, they a little bit pushed to change of this preferences. Somehow they did it because this new idea of integrated network seems to be quite successful. They move a lot of volume to this program, but this is a different perspective for them. It's not about profitability; it's more right removing costs of the delivery. Still, alone, parcel locker, the agnostic parcel locker network will face this problem with maybe less with utilization, but more with density on delivery. And if they manage somehow this part, maybe
Mm.
this is the answer how to run from the logistic point of view agnostic parser lookup network.
Yeah, but you need to be able to share all the things, the data that you're collecting. That is a must, because we all base our decisions on data.